Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, in its latest monthly oil market report, confirms Nigeria produced 1.3 million barrels per day of crude in the month of February. This puts Nigeria as Africa's top producer, outperforming Angola and Algeria. Meanwhile, oil prices are rebounding today after major benchmarks lost over 4% in the previous session. Oyeyemi Oke, partner at AO2 Law, joins me now for this conversation. Thank you so much for your time today, Oyeyemi. Let's first talk about what we're seeing play out in terms of oil prices now. We're seeing that rebound play out yesterday. The new challenges from the banking sector more or less impacted prices, and we saw the impact there. But good news coming from that OPEC report, and how we see things play out.
I think the OPEC report shows that the demand for oil will continue to surge. We will still see strong demand, particularly from Asia. China's zero COVID policy and relaxing of the zero COVID policy and also opening up of the economy would help demand for oil, and also the liberalization in quotes in terms of travel would also see demand for products like jet fuel. So, my projection would be that perhaps if the same performance is not done for the month of March, we would see something quite similar, if not better, in terms of the demand for oil. So, how that plays out for us locally is that, we should take advantage of this demand and also ensure that we are able to ramp up production in order to meet the quota from OPEC.
Yeah, but 1.3 million barrels for the month of February here, quite an improvement. But then, how sustainable do you think this is going to be in the medium term?
It has to be sustainable in the best interest of the country. I think one of the major challenges which we've had, which has not made us get to the desired production level as prescribed by OPEC, which is 1.8 million barrels, is the challenges we continue to have with regards to the pipelines. Pipeline vandalism continues to constitute a significant threat with regards to the ability to monetize oil that is coming out from the ground. If you ask an average producer today, is either some of their wells are shut in because of the vandalized pipelines, or the option of alternative crude evacuation, which some of the operators have mastered and some are still grappling with. And so if we put this side by side also with the issue of perhaps maybe the safety concerns with regards to alternative crude evacuation, you would see that we have no other choice but to ensure that, one, the pipelines work, and also get more oil from the ground in order to, one, meet our production target with OPEC, and also increase revenues for the country.
But on the going back to the pricing dynamics here, I'm looking at what we're seeing play out with the banks. Moody's saying they've cut their outlook on U.S. banks to negative. We saw the fears around the financial crisis triggering, what was play out in prices yesterday. First was FTX. Now we have SVB and now Signature Bank. But would you say we're in the clear in terms of that threat to the financial crisis?
Well, I don't think we're in the clear. It depends on how the regulators would handle these failures and how these shocks will be addressed. You would see that the market reacted negatively based on even the SVB news, but there's a rebound. I don't think we're in the clear yet, but I guess we need to watch the next few weeks to be able to understand how this would affect pricing clearly. But those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, but I would like to bring up Russia now and get your thoughts on what we're seeing play in terms of the price caps there. And would you say they're working?
Well, so if you look at the demand and the OPEC monthly reports, if you look at what has happened in terms of how demand has spiked, I don't think there is any downside as a result of Russia cutting its its production, I think actually they will be taking advantage of it as well because of also the fact that price will stabilize or perhaps even increase. So whether that is working or not, for me, as far as we are concerned, as of today, we still have a situation whereby the prices are holding steady and holding high. At least we've not gone to a situation of the 70s in terms of the amount of crude per barrel. So for me, in as much as there's production cut from members of OPEC Plus, like Russia, I will still say that the prices are still good and the outlook will still be good, most likely for the next 1 month.
All right, let's bring it back home here to some of the issues that affect us here. We're seeing news flow today coming in, talking about global fossil fuel subsidies rising to over 1 trillion here. Nigeria's finance minister talking about the fact that fuel subsidy is one of the major causes of the deficit that we're seeing in terms of our budget playing out here. I'd like to get your thoughts on how you're reading this and what the next steps are in terms of how we should phase out subsidies.
I mean, I think the issue of subsidy needs to be faced squarely. I think our government needs to be definite in terms of a position to take with regards to removal of subsidy. We have a deficit budget, so we need funding for that. Perhaps if subsidy is removed, we may have more money or free up some other, free up funds for some other projects. However, I think with regards to whether this will be done, I think the incoming administration in their manifesto has made that clear that this will be done. The question will be at what time and again at what cost? Because as far as I'm concerned, removal of subsidy needs to come with certain palliatives. Are we going to look at increase in minimum wage? Are we going to look at other transportation palliatives in order to ensure that the effect of the removal of subsidy is not so hard on Nigerian citizens? But whether subsidy has to go, in my view, I think perhaps this may be, it may be the right time in order to remove it, subject to the palliatives which I've mentioned.
Yeah, but what about the dynamics at play in terms of PMS pricing here? We're seeing the marketers warning of a possibility of price hikes here because of some of the supply challenges that they're having.
Well, yeah. So again, some of the supply challenges that they are having is also a question that is, is an issue that is closely related to the subsidy issue, right? We have a situation whereby pricing is being dictated without necessarily looking at the attendant costs. And if prices is being dictated without looking at also the forces of demand and supply, definitely there will be some type of market imbalance, and this would obviously needs to be absorbed by someone, whether a government, whether the marketers. Obviously, the marketers are businessmen who would always want to maximize profits at all times. And if prices are being regulated, definitely we will continue to have this imbalance and perhaps continue to have shortage of supply of products in the market.
All right, we'll keep an eye to see how this goes about. Thank you so much for your time on the show today. Oyeyemi there, Oyeyemi Oke, the partner at AO2 Law